1/3 of Americans over the age of 18 have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine, according to the CDC. For some, it means reopening social circles or potentially planning trips. But medical professionals urge caution, warning a vaccine isn't an instant ticket to life before the pandemic. Earlier today, I spoke with Dr. Thomas Russo, chief of infectious diseases at the University at Buffalo, about how protected vaccinated people are right now. But first, I asked him about more people traveling for spring break and loosening restrictions in many states. What is your greatest concern?
Well, we've had a lot of loosening and restrictions in many states, including allowing indoor activities where people aren't wearing masks, often in venues with poor ventilation, which of course is a great setting for acquiring coronavirus infection. And we need to remember that even though we've done a pretty good job vaccinating our most vulnerable, the majority of Americans haven't gotten vaccinated yet.
What is your advice to folks who are planning to travel here for spring break or in the months leading up to summer?
Well, travel poses an increased risk. If you're fully vaccinated, that risk is very small. There's never the zero risk in the age of COVID. But if you're fully vaccinated, albeit you could get infected, the likelihood of a severe infection resulting in hospitalization or bad outcome is very small. If you haven't been fully vaccinated and you're still what we call immunologically naive, so neither vaccinated nor have you had prior infection, you need to be extra careful and be rigorous about your public health measures.
And what is your advice to people who have been fully vaccinated when it comes to mask wearing inside and outdoors?
If you're fully vaccinated, your personal risk now becomes very low. However, we're still trying to understand the magnitude of protecting against transmission if you're fully vaccinated, but it's probably a little less than protecting against symptomatic disease. So there's a small but finite chance that you could actually transmit infection to others. So the general rule is if you're fully vaccinated and your household or social bubble is fully vaccinated and you're not going to interact with other individuals without masks that aren't fully vaccinated, then there's a lot of latitude in terms of what you could do, including activities without masks. However, if you are going to interact with individuals that have no protection, you still need to be cautious, particularly if those individuals have increased vulnerability and increased risk for a bad outcome if they get infected.
And doctor, as you know, the president set a goal of having most people vaccinated and some sense of normalcy back by the July 4th holiday here in the United States. Are you optimistic that we will see that come to fruition? That's a realistic goal?
I am optimistic. And the way I look at this, I think we're sort of going to undergo two phases here of getting back to normal. I think by July 4th, I think we'll have a significant number of individuals that have been both vaccinated and have a degree of protection due to already being infected. And so I think that combined with the good weather and outdoor activities, we know that's a setting where it's more difficult to acquire coronavirus infection. I think our caseload at that point is going to be fairly low. However, if during the summer we don't get a critical number of people vaccinated, and particularly those younger individuals that feel they don't need to get vaccinated, people that are hesitant for a wide variety of reasons, or people that have already been infected say, I've been infected, I don't need to get vaccinated, I've got a degree of protection, we might run into trouble in the fall and as we head into the cooler weather months. And so I think the message is that everyone really needs to get vaccinated to really put this virus to bed, at least in terms of hospitalizations and bad outcomes. And I think it's really a community sense of responsibility here that people should take seriously.
Everybody plays a role. Dr. Russo, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
And quickly, the one thing I want to reiterate that he said was that people who have had the vaccine, yes, it does protect you from being severely affected by the symptoms of COVID-19. But what we don't yet know is if you can have it, be asymptomatic and still pass the virus on to others. So I think that's important to say once again, is even vaccinated people potentially can continue to pass it on. We just don't know enough yet.
We don't know. And like we talked about on the show last week, ideally 75, 80% of the country would get vaccinated. Right now we're at 13%. So to reiterate his point, we have miles to go, but
Right.
certainly momentum. So
Positive news,
yes.
still not out of the woods.